Ahoy hoy. Welcome back. Happy New Year. What? Here we are. 2021. What's new, people? What's fresh? Not much. Chilling. 2021 things. Safe. I hope everyone's well. Welcome to Thursday Club. The beard is looking pretty dense, yeah, it's true. I'm nearly ready to record a chicken in the neckbeard music video, bruv. Nearly. Just want it to be a little bit longer. I'm excited for today. It's the sample challenge. Just letting Pro Tools launch and then we'll have a listen to the sample. We've got a good sample for you today. I think it's pretty funny. There's a number of different options. I think there's a number of different ways we can go. Chicken in the dank beard. Big up Nico. Big up Scraffia. How you guys doing? Bum. So yeah, so new year, new dank. We still haven't released any of the stuff we said we were going to release before Christmas, so we got to do that at some point early in this new year. But because it's the first session back from a new year, and also because it'll be the first session in a few weeks, and kind of because we're back in lockdown now in the UK, and I just associate lockdown with Thursday Club, it feels like we should just do like vintage Thursday Club today. Like, let's keep things simple. Let's not do finishing school. Let's not have all the baggage of last year. Let's just make a beat. Let's just boil Thursday Club back down to its roots, to its foundations. Bring it down to the ground, and then build it back up. I don't know, this metaphor's gotten away from me. Let's just make a beat. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say let's make a beat. So we're going to make a really sick beat today. That's the plan. This old computer is increasingly pissing me off. I'm starting to think that maybe I should experiment with a new door on my new machine. Have a clean start. I don't know. Anyway, guess what? Pro Tools has launched at last. Create blank session. Let's do it. Now, there are so many projects here. Let's sort out our folder first, because there's a lot of things going on in here. So I would like a new folder, and I'd like to call it the Music Making Thursday People. I think that's what it is. 2020. There we go. Okay. And then I think it's like almost everything here, apart from the cat remix. I don't think I did that. Can I not? Oh, okay. Never mind. What we'll do is we'll just do a 2021 one. I'll just sort it out later. And in here we'll do sample week. We could put SW for sample week maybe, or driest symbol, and then put sample week. Driest symbol sample week. That's a good way of naming that. Organised, you geez. Organised. Ableton. Got a cheeky undercut. Is that undercut when you that's this thing, isn't it? When you go but you leave the top long. That would be cool. I'm kind of just want it all really, really long again, like massive, which is what we're getting here. But yeah, the back and sides. Yeah, I tell you what, I have for a very long time wanted to do that, and I've never done it. So you never know. 8 mono audio tracks. Cool. Do we need mono audio tracks for anything? I guess for if we record in any instruments. 8 instruments, stereo master. Okay, so where's this sample then? Here it is. So we'll have a listen to the sample together, and then we'll start to make a beat. And yeah, Nico, absolutely. The brief is just use that sample. It's just like a classic sample week. You can do whatever you want, but you just have to prominently feature this sample in whatever you create. Okay, I don't have actually any headphones up here. That's potentially a mistake. Anyway, let's have a listen. Let's have a listen and see.
What's up, everybody? Ed here with Drumflip. Have the world's driest cymbal. This is a Tosco 20-inch flat ride. This was stored by the ocean. Got this wonderful patina top and bottom. We're doing this guy for only 69 bucks. Let's hear how it sounds. Yeah, it's that dry. So dry. Check it out now at Drumflip.
Sounds awful, innit? But yeah, I think it is. It's just like a little YouTube video just called The World's Driest Cymbal that I saw because I just watched loads of stuff about drumming on YouTube. So I think it was like an advert. Yeah, some dude just trying to say, look at this. We're selling the world's driest cymbal. So that's nice. We'll call that a sample. Can you just chop the sample in light and hard crash? 2 samples. Well, you can if you want. I might use some of his voice though. Mate, if you've got to make a whole tune, you can cut your own samples out. I've turned it into an MP3. I could have just given you the link to the video and asked you to make your own MP3. You can cut your own sample up. You're a big boy. I'm sure you can manage it. So I'm thinking, depends if my thing might have expired. But I was immediately starting to think about this guy. I think it might have expired. The trial has expired. Oh. Well, that's dead. I guess we can't do that then. We'll just have to not use auto-tune on it. I was thinking we could be like, it's so dry. But I think one of my favourite bits is at the end here.
So dry.
So dry.
So dry. So dry.
I want maybe we should make bits like so dry, so dry, so dry, so dry, so ting 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 ting, and then we get the tinging coming in. Should we do that?
So dry.
Yeah, I want that. Okay, then we can mute our sample track for now. Do we want to come and plunder more from it? Put that there. Let's put our sample right at the top, so it's a bit more out of the way. Come in here.
So dry.
So dry, so dry.
So dry.
Let's make it faster.
So dry.
It's so dry, 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 so. We could do a 4 to the floor tune today. That could be funny.
So dry.
Okay, so.
So dry. 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 So dry.
It's a bit loud, isn't it?
So dry. 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 So dry.
I love it already. That's fine. I don't think the EQ matters that much now that we've rolled off the bottom. I'm gonna get some headphones. Hold on. Man is back. Except, where is my ting? No. Oh, where's the little brer? That definitely means one of my kids has like picked it up and like put it somewhere random. I can't plug my headphones in. It's like the little like mini jack adapter, you know? Nah, these utes. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. It wasn't them, it must have been me. I put it up on the top of the speaker because I'm sensible. Right, okay, let's get on to it. New cans. Actually, these are just a very old pair, but Becky was using them a lot, but then my one's broke, so I've taken these back from Becky and started using them again.
So dry, so dry, so dry.
So that must be better sound quality for you guys now that you're not getting the bleed from the speakers in the room. So let's see if we like our sample.
So dry, 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 so dry.
Yeah, I don't really want. I could tighten it up a bit at the front, but then we'd lose a bit of the S of the so dry, so dry.
So dry, so dry.
I'm getting muted.
So dry,
Nice.
so dry, 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 so.
Okay, let's get some of the cymbal.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's.
Let's see if we can't use the expression, the human expression in that ting ting ta ting there. Even if it's slightly the wrong tempo, we can make a sort of wonky groove out of it. That would be very cool. I think. Let's see. Let's see what we can do with it. Bit medium so we can see what we're playing with here. Slip. Ugh. I thought I was moving it right. Okay, hold on. I think we can probably go a little bit further. Not much further, to be fair. There's a couple of, maybe there. I think that's fine. So if that is lined up, what does that do to the other two? They put some kind of on the offbeat.
So dry, so dry. So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry, so.
Yeah, it's a bit too weird, isn't it? I think. So let's abandon that. It was a shame. It was a nice idea. Unless we can kind of. I wonder. Hold on. If we come right in here. There seems to be a little bit of activity there before, but is that just... I think maybe we should take it from here. And then with slip on, we can just move this to like somewhere. Oh no, with grid on. Bring it to this on beat and then see what that does. Like.
So dry, so.
That could be quite expressive because that last one's slightly late there then. If those two are together, do we get like a nice little swing? Ting, 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 ting. Okay, I think I want to reduce. Oops! A little bit of slip. The size of those. I think that's where I'm getting the little like cutting sound coming in. I could be wrong. I think it will be a bit tidier. Just like that. Let's see what we think. Yeah. Safe, Lister Onion, how you doing? Yeah, alright. Okay.
So dry, 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 so dry.
We're starting the new year with a high energy tune today, guys. Are you ready?
so dry, so dry, so dry, so.
Okay, I'm going to leave that for now. We might want to make a slightly more interesting pattern than that, but for now that'll be fine. Let's get just an absolutely ludicrous 4 to the floor going. With expand, yeah, that should be fine. I called the stream Happy New Music. I'm now regretting it and thinking Happy New Thursday would have been funnier. You live and learn. We'll do Happy New Thursday next year. What's he saying? He's saying so dry because the sample is the world's driest cymbal. So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry, so dry. And then that's also this world's driest cymbal is also the sample. Drums. Kicks menu. Thank you. Oh yeah, let's name some tracks. I always like to start with good habits. Dry Ride. And that's called So Dry. That's our vocal sample. That one, right? Okay. We can start to bring, I guess, our important pieces up to the top. And for this one, let's have a look. Let's see what we got. Quite like that one. Just absolutely ludicrous, you know what I mean? I think that's what I'm looking for.
So dry, 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 so dry.
Oh, guys, you know what that kick is? That is the DankNStein theme tune kick sound, isn't it? Get, do do do.
So dry, so dry, so dry.
Let's just put that on the snare, on the like beats 2 and 4 and see what that does to it.
So dry, 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 so.
No, that high pitch. Yeah, that's what I want.
So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, like with wet and dry, you have basically, for every single effect, you'll have like a wet and dry mix. Actually, not on compression. Okay, not every single effect, but on lots of effects. And it's basically the dry is the original sound and the wet is only the effect. And then you usually want somewhere in between where you've got the original sound mixed with the effect to give you a kind of effecty version of the sound. That was a terrible explanation, but that's fine. But we're not going to be putting any reverb on this because this is the driest cymbal ever. Like this.
So dry, 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 so dry.
So I think the most important thing now is that we loop this for a very, very long amount of time, so that we just listen to this for ages. And what we're going to do is put some really nice synths and bass lines over the top of it. I hope is the plan. So let's do that. Okay, that should be enough.
So dry, 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 so dry.
I've still got that, and I need
So
to
dry, so dry.
leave that muted. Okay, that's all good for me. You liked it better without the ringing. Ooh, what's the ringing? What is that? The ride cymbal, you mean? What if it's just like...
So dry, 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 so dry.
I'm not really sure about the... I think I want to do something to the kick to make it a bit tighter sounding. We don't want it to cause too much havoc in the really low frequencies. So like 25 will just kill it. Give it a little boost there. Punchier. And then compressor. Yeah, that's tighter now.
So dry, 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 so dry.
Okay, anyway.
So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry.
In fact, instead of making us...
So dry, 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 so dry.
What did I just do? I just picked up a track and just dragged it all over the place. Somehow. Not really sure how. Anyway, okay, alright, whatever. Anyway.
So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry.
Yeah, that sounded better. Let's get a really banging bass line going. And take it from there, probably. Vacuum, where you at? No, it's first. The last one I added. Yeah. That's cool. We'll come back to the kick drums now. It's always the way in it. Keep moving, keep moving. Oh, that's a weird sound. I want something that's very clean and dry, I think. So that's a bit too wet. Hard man. No. Amped synthesizer. That's amazing. That sounds great. I think we can make it sound even better. Okay, so.
So dry, so dry. So dry.
Oh, that's inspired me already.
So dry, so dry. So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry.
That is a mad bass line, but I think it's going to sound sick. Hold on. think it's a little bit too much, this bass line. It's good, but it's a bit too ridiculous. I think we can make the end more melodic. That'll serve us well. Even just that, I think. Yeah, that's the loop. But I want a different sound now. It was inspiring me before. That's the one. That's the ticket, isn't it? I think. Enough. Sorry, getting a bit excited there. But yeah, I'm excited about this tune. Let's get a really nice bright lead sound. No. Although I like that sound so much, I'm going to keep it and put pads. Call it pads. Next, synth. I feel like I want that sound that we just found us then for the pads for the breakdown. When it goes to just, when we have a section that's just like this. That's when I want this sound. Oh shit, wait. What's happened here then? Oh, that's the bass. Oh, sorry, up here. Over there, mute. I mean, those aren't the right notes, but that's the sound, yeah? Hello, Chewy Tuesday, how are you? Original XCOM, oh, safe, I'll take that. Okay, so we got the pads, that's good. The synth we still want to find another sound for. Oh, and everything shouldn't be so low. I just pressed something, but that's the kind of thing I'm after, but maybe we can find something a bit cooler than that. That actually might be really nice to start. That's got a certain kind of quality to it, that sounds bizarrely. Let's have a play. I actually want to look at the bass line notes while I'm doing this. I think it will help me. So we're like, so it's like, It's very weird, isn't it? I love it. I don't know what key to call it. Whatever it is. I wonder what are we hearing melody-wise? Going towards Blade Runner, yeah. Okay, no, none of this is working. Let me just think about what this just makes me think of. It just makes me think of going with the minor thirds, maybe that would be fun. So like... Oh, wow. Wow. I'm really surprised that doesn't work better. Just trying lots of things here. Kind of jokes. Not sure if I'm a fan though. Maybe it's the synth sound. Maybe we need some fresh inspiration here. And then to get rid of this kind of pa thing. I want to do something more melodic. What chord is that? Like E minor. Should we just B and E minor. Oh God. I don't think we can get away with that note, but if we can, it'd be amazing. It's all just a bit too strange. The bass line is great, but it's just like really hard to write something melodic to. Why don't we try something super crazy? Yeah, I think this is the idea. Whoops. Do. I think we can just go to the same chord. No, not quite. And I think we should make it into the... Instead of that, go up like that, and then all the other notes can be the same. Or then put that one to there, and that should spell like a... that E flat major. See if what that's. And then that's like that's a proper E minor. So we should just do a normal E minor here, I think. So we keep going up. We keep that top note, but go to the B and the E and the B. Don't know if that's... Or we go down an inversion. Quite more interesting. It's weird that it's an E minor though, isn't it? Because it's almost like should more be an E major. Blues Brothers. Yes, your toes. How are you? It's I don't know. It's like the melody thing is just not going well for me here. Like I guess everything else happened so quickly and sounded so good. I just think we're like barking up the wrong tree somehow. Oh wait, I want to keep that one as it is. It's this one I want to change. Now let's try and get a loop going with that at the start of it and see if we can make something that... Something really simple. Even just that. Okay, I've got like a proper motif here, and I think, why not just keep it kind of simple? Just double those there. What they'd say up there. That's wrong. Put them down the octave. It's kind of nice, but then let's put another one in the middle. Let's get rid of the ones in the middle. I think it's fine. I think this is good. This is like as good as it's been, the melody. Yes, James. Safe, man. So let's try and get our breakdown going then. If we just say that's our melody for now, because that was like pulling teeth, so it's not work too much longer on the melody, like whatever. That's like a little texture we can just add to make the big drops more exciting. The pads I'm more keen on thinking about here, and actually this is going to be really hard, probably, because it's hard enough to write a melody, but now if we're going to try and write like some sort of harmony, I don't know, let's see. So this is going to be like for sections really where it's just these three. Too much. I think this is good. I think that's our loop, right? Let's see. I might add like might double it up with some harmonies. And then we're going to duplicate with everything on it. And the second one though is going to have some very different notes. So the first thing I didn't like about it was when we came back round to this middle part here, how it wasn't like super low. So I want is for this one to be like, and in fact, regions please. I don't need to be doing everything, every change I'm making twice. So this is going to come right down to like a really low A, like that. That's good, and we could even make it last a bit longer, that one, just for fun. Actually, maybe not. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that little extra line on there for the first one, and then this E. Just do major thirds in parallel, or minor thirds in parallel, sorry. Major thirds here. And then let's make this an octave. I think I like the purity of that after the third. Maybe make this one a fifth or something. that maybe. Okay. Let's put this back into regions and loop it round. Got a couple. Doesn't have that extra note there. That's actually quite nice. Okay, this we're gonna make sound better by just making it incredibly wet. This particular sound here. I'm gonna go with 8th note delay, triplet ping pong, with like insane amounts of feedback. Let's just see it. Man, I need to save this project. Why am I not pressing save more often? Let's save it. And let's put some crazy. I know, it's funny, isn't it? Beep, beep. Yes, this is like the least dry part of the whole song. Pretty much structure this tune now. It's not really that, I mean, it's a bit of a novelty song, this really, isn't it? I kind of went down the novelty path today. That's fine. So, the bass line is pretty relentless, and maybe we could make another section that is more melodic and have this as more like the kind of chorus. So if I loop, well, let's give it an intro first, which I think is going to be this guy. So let's loop everything loads. Because I think a nice slow build for a tune like this would be appropriate. And we probably don't get to kick drum until like there. And we probably don't get to bass line until there or something. I don't know. I don't think I want any of these pads yet. And I think after that synth, after the kick drum comes in, sorry, I just want it to be like, and then from there. So. I think the pads, that's actually probably what happens next. Oh, maybe not. Let's have a listen to our intro. Oh my god, so dry, so dry. Let's take so dry out of the equation here through here. And let's try that.
So dry, so dry.
Oh yeah, and then let's do, get rid of all of those. This is like a really, really bait structure, but it's just funny. Let's just see it.
So dry, 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 so dry. So dry, 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 so dry.
Okay, I've got some ideas for the intro actually. I think I'm kind of feeling this. So, what would happen if we did this? We duplicate this track, but the duplicated version doesn't have the delay on it. And then when he's saying so dry, it will be so dry, except for, I think I actually want to move that, like, that last segment there up. Yes, we get delay on that.
So dry, 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 so dry.
This is a good idea. This is funny. Okay, so let's take all of this. In fact, no, the main thing to do is to take and duplicate it without its active playlist on. Yeah, and throw these down onto like a kind of, we'll have a really wet version of this where we just swamp it in reverb. So simply a large church sounds ideal. Maybe we'd mix at like 38%. Yeah. Okay, now I want to go back to looking at our sample here and get some of the cross stick work, which I think is this section. There's the sample like that. Let's grab that and chuck it in somewhere. I think it wants to be in this sort of section. Dry side, because it's the side stick. The dry side. Take a little walk on the dry side. Duplicate it. First one is going to have the crazy reverb on it. Make these quieter on opposite sides. In fact, make the reverby one be actually just in the middle. Oh, what have I done? I've gone all the way wrong. There we go. And then this guy's just like.
So dry, so dry.
I think what we'll do as well is we'll make that ting there be there and then get rid of these for that.
So dry, so dry, so dry.
Like this.
So dry, 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 so dry.
I think I want a snare by this point. I need a snare drum. Why have we not got a snare drum, yo? Or a clap or something? Where are my kicks? Let's put our snares here. Man needs a snare there. That is exactly what the note I want to place, but just maybe not that snare. Something like that. Something like that.
So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry. So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry. So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry, so dry, so dry. So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry, so dry. So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry.
I like that sound. So we'll call this one effect instead. We're just gonna have that as a little loop that's kind of funky and funny. I'll bring this one up as our actual snare now. And maybe give it like, instead of a snare menu, let's give it a different menu, like claps or clicks or something. Side sticks menu. That sounds good. I like that sound.
So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry, so dry.
Yeah, and then the only difference would just be to, like, the next pattern will be like that. And then split them up from each other. Oh, I just duplicated. That was stupid. Okay, there we go. That's better. And then this can also just be regions, and I think should loop 2, so we'll get like that. Just going throughout here. Let's have a listen.
So dry, 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 so dry.
Yeah, nice. I like that. Just pretty funny and weird. Just what I'm up for today, apparently. Making quite a strange little dance tune here. Here we go.
So dry, 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 so dry. So dry, 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 so dry. So dry, 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 so dry.
I think these can wait a bit more even till then, because I think we can get away with just looping all of this, to be honest. It felt like I didn't feel bored of it yet. Some of the rest of you may disagree, but I guess we want like a fill maybe just get rid of that. And that, like that. Maybe that just creates a bit of interest around that moment then. And then the idea was that it would just be like kick and bass, like relentless kick and bass with these pads. So if we do that like this, just copy those over. think we just go again with those and with the bass, but drop the kicks and bring back the rides. It's really, really hard to grab because it's this awkward mess. Put them there and there. This is like a rough structure coming together now. Safe, Nico. How you doing?
So dry, 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 so dry. So dry, 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 so dry.
I think maybe what I want to do is this. Yeah. I'll do a little bit more to the transition over here. Oops, cancel. Put one of these in. Oh, I put it in the exact right place, I think. Yeah, that is exactly what I want to do. I want to try and get rid of that. In fact, maybe we'll just get rid of this. In fact, let's get rid of all of those like that, so you just stop setting. Get rid of that as well, maybe. Get rid of that bass note, maybe. And then that sound that we don't need. In fact, cancel. You know, I'm not going to even duplicate. What I'm going to do to the bass line for this bit, I've got a nice idea here. I think it's going to work really well. We're gonna duplicate these two pads, but without the playlists on. That's exactly right. Yeah, and then we can group the original two together, but the second two, which is where we're going to move these two for this time round, we're going to put some far out like delay, or can we just use the same crazy delay that we have? This one. How do we put that on these? And let's also, on top of that, put the reverb that we were using. Which reverb is it? It's like a big church reverb. Yeah, let's put that reverb on them as well. Okay, this is the wrong input channel, so we just need to give them a new reverb of their own. They can get their own thing going on. Large hall, bright. Yeah, I like that. And then with the bass line, what we're going to do is delete those three. Let's make this nice and large, and then do what we, I think, initially did by accident, because it didn't sound bad up the octave. Although actually, you know what? Now I've said it, I'm also going to duplicate it because I think I do want to just swamp it a little bit as well. So with this higher octave, so this whole piece becomes like a study on like taking away and adding reverb on back and forth, and whether or not the sound you're listening to is actually dry or not. I quite like that. Like, what if we put like a big, like a plate, like a short plate bright maybe. That's great, isn't it? So dry, so dry, so dry. Okay, and then we just got to see where we actually want to put all this. You ready?
So dry, 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 so dry.
Oh, did I miss out? I missed the beginning of whatever I dragged to copy and paste there. That's very annoying, but I think all my loops are small enough that it really doesn't matter. But we want these guys for the first half, and they can cut out again.
So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry.
And what we'll do is we'll put the crazy ones on. There, and we'll add also the crazies. Actually, no, we'll leave that. That can just be an intro. That can just be an intro.
So dry, 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 so
Yeah, I'm gonna make these the reverby ones from the whole time. I think that's gonna be nice to transition there. Let's have it from the top. So mental, isn't it? I love it.
so dry, 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 so
Okay, well, we've got something here, definitely. We've definitely got a little something. You can't deny that. Might just listen to it again, just to get a vibe. Actually, I'm going to get a beer as well. I'll be back in a mo.
So dry, 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 so dry. So dry, 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 so dry. So dry, so dry, so so dry, 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 so dry,
Safe people. I'm just going to unveil the tune, so I'm going to play it out the speakers. Alright, you ready? It's pretty funny. I think it'll be up your street. It's a bit of a joke thing, really. But Happy New Year, you know? Hmm.
But I'll so dry.
Yeah. Because they're so dry.
Or just like the just the dry symbol.
Yeah, that's a hilarious idea. Wait, hold on. So just like. Wait, maybe even make it like off time, just to be even more jokes. Wait, that's actually with the reverb on, isn't it? Isn't that the stupid one I don't want?
Hold on.
Can't tell. No, that is the normal one. Thanks. Maybe it's funnier if it's just one hit. Ugh. Could we just grab this guy instead? Jokes. It's pretty funny. Pretty funny, yo. So there's a couple of ideas I had, the things we could do in this end bit here to make it more interesting. Oh, let me plug my headphones back in. So things a little bit more pleasant for y'all. Yeah, that missing note there is great. What if we get rid of the kick on that note as well? Or is that just too much? That's nice. Oh, look, there's a missing kick there as well. I want to get rid of the missing kick there. I don't want that one missing. Something happened when I copied and pasted this originally. It didn't all come through somehow. Ghostbusters attack. Let's get rid of just that note on that one there. Okay. I like that one. We're going to do that one again there. Like that. I'm going to just do normal to the end, I think. What happens if we just put the very last bass line onto its reverb track instead? I don't really know, it just sounds like it's in mud. It doesn't, we can't really hear it with clarity unless you're in that portion of the mix. Okay, well, I mean it's a pretty simple and novelty song, but it's like 2.5 minutes, well 2 minutes 15 seconds long. It's alright. guess we need like some sort of effect or something here. Unless we just leave it completely silent.
So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry.
Like this guy. It's like a random beat.
So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry, so
I don't know, it's pretty dumb. If I just do that, okay, hold on.
so dry, so dry, so dry, so dry, so dry, so dry.
Sweet. This is gonna be good for montages. This track. I do think I'm kind of done. Like, I'm kind of just like, yeah, it's fine. I get it. I get it with this tune, Eddie. So we could like start a new rhythm just for jokes, or like a totally new section to this one. I don't know.
So dry, 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 so dry. So dry, 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 so dry.
Exquisite.
So dry, 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 so dry.
I guess in the mix, these pads are a bit loud. It's better.
So dry, 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 so dry. So dry, 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 so dry,
Let's put the bass line down for the outro to its... Yeah, so they switch places. Oh, that's wrong. It's this. wait for the reverb to finish. Like it should be like there or something. Funny. Every little touch up's making it better and better. Let's look at the mix.
So dry, 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 so dry. So dry, 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 so dry. So dry, so dry, so so dry, 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 so dry,
I'm feeling it. I am feeling it. So, let's make a bounce. Now, it's a good thing to do. Let me mute my mic for the bounce actually, because I feel like that interfering before, so safe.
So dry.
Very calm. Very calm indeed. Finished the tune. Serious. Now, what can we play while we wait? Strat jams. Slow chill. What's slow chill? Can't remember. Have a look at it. Have a little goosey gander. Oh, that's very... That's a lovely, lovely loop though, isn't it? I remember this loop. We want to do something with it. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Oh, I think. Pretty cool. Lol. Right. I'm going to take a wee break then for a moment. This is a nice little rhythm, but we can't just loop that. That's just too cruel. I think Strat jams might be quite loopable. It's just a really nice little chord sequence, I think, with some light drums for a long, long time. 6 minutes of it, no less. Pretty relentless loop. Bring the guitars a bit more into the middle. Safe. I'll be back. Little 10-minute break, you guys. Big ups. And probably by the time I'm back, some of the others will have sent their tunes in and we can start unveiling a ting. Alright, safe. Catch you guys in a bit. Peace. Yo. Safe, everyone. 99's here. Big up 99. Martinez as well, safe. Alright. What should we do? Should we just do some guitar solos to this because it's fun to? Let's do it. We have actually finished our tune for the day already, so we're feeling smug, so might as well just like have a bit of fun with it. Ugh. Let's go. Oh, it's just set real low. Bit more juice. Okay, that sounds good. Get the right angle. Okay, let's have jokes. What key are we in? E minor, I think. Oh yeah, this is totally John Frusciante before the beginning. This is, yeah, that's the exact tune, Martinez. Top marks. This is exactly it. It's like the funnest song to guitar solo to, so I just always have this beat there just ready for this exact situation. But yeah, top marks. Well spotted. It's such a beat, isn't it? Such a great tune. Shame I can't solo as well as him, but you know, it's something. Still fun. Sick, innit? Right. You don't want to hear the tune I made today. For anyone who's joined us since we made the tune, let's load the thing up. Dry a cymbal. Don't need to save that. But that was fun. Right, here's the tune. Let's have a listen. Safe 99. How you doing, man?
So dry, 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 so dry.
Oh, La Samba. Yes, how are you, man? Butter sound.
So dry, 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 so dry.
Oh, have you got like a buzz from the thingy? Ah, yes. Thanks, Nico. Hold on. Let me do this. Better? Much better. Right, let's restart that then. Reloads.
So dry, 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 so dry.
Getting a lot of love for the kick, safe. That's like 3 or 4 layered up.
So dry, 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 so dry,
Oh, yeah, it looped. There's just like one little dry hit at the end, just of the ride, just like so. Hold on. And that's the tune. So safe, yeah. There we go. Nice and dirty sub kick. Yeah, the kicks are ridiculously dirty. Here's them soloed. And you got this thing. As far as the drums go. And then the snare. And then of course the cymbal. That's basically the drums. There's not much else. There's like reverby versions of everything, and the track just basically switches between like wet and dry versions of everything the whole time. And that's the gimmick. And then of course this geezer.
So dry, so dry, so dry, so dry, so dry.
And then lots of comments on the bass line. Should we have a listen to that soloed as well? Bass lines here. And And it's just one base actually. I didn't have to layer anything on top of it. It was sufficiently disgusting as it was. I think just some compression on it. That's it. And yeah, I know what you mean, 99, like it never resolves. It was really hard to put these chords on top. It took me ages to work out how to put melodies onto it. To get like, wait, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the bits where it's got these. Or like here. Here's a good place. With this stuff. That was really hard to write, but it worked. The bass synth is just vacuum, just this little geezer I always use on Whoop from the preset called Whoop. Whatever it is, can't remember. So yeah, that's basically those all the elements of the track, but it was fun to make. It's just, it is relentless, yeah, Marching into War. Too dry, too dry, too dry, too dry, too dry.
So dry, 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 so dry.
That was the first thing I did that, and I was pretty happy with that. But after I did that, I couldn't resist a four to the floor. It was just unresistible at that point. So yeah, so that's what happened. I'm interested to hear what yours is like then, Dave. If you're saying that, what's it called? You went in when you say you went in a similar direction. Definitely more going on in yours. So yeah, I'll look forward to hearing yours if it's a similar direction. That's jokes. I wonder what you mean like. Let's see if we've got any tracks here. We do. Okay, so I'm gonna like close Pro Tools now. Then I think let's get rid of this malarkey so we can go on PC Sound instead of my weird loop back for Pro Tools. So I'll save that. But yeah, I'm glad you was feeling the little breakdown I gave it there, Dave. That's jokes. So I've got Dave's track is in first, so I think that's what we'll play now. Ola Samba. Here we go. Oh wait, let me switch the audio around. Cool, bang it out.
What's up everybody, Ed here with Jump Flip, have the world's driest cymbal. This is a Tosco 20-inch flat ride. This was stored by the ocean, got this wonderful patina top and bottom. We're doing this guy for only 69 bucks. We're doing this guy for only 69 bucks. Let's hear how it sounds. Let's hear how it sounds. Yeah, it's that dry. World's driest cymbal.
Yes.
World's driest cymbal. World's driest cymbal.
So dry.
Patina top and bottom. Patina top and bottom. World's driest cymbal. World's driest.
20-inch flat ride.
20-inch patina top. 20-inch patina top. 20-inch patina.
This is sick.
20-inch patina. 20-inch driest cymbal.
Oh, that was sick. That was live. I feel like I just want to reload that actually. It's only short, a minute and a bit.
What's up everybody, Ed here with Jump Flip, have the world's driest cymbal. This is a Tosco 20-inch flat ride. This was stored by the ocean, got this wonderful patina top and bottom. We're doing this guy for only 69 bucks. We're doing this guy for only 69 bucks. Let's hear how it sounds. Let's hear how it sounds. Yeah, it's that dry. World's driest cymbal. World's driest cymbal. World's driest cymbal.
So dry.
Patina top and bottom. Patina top and bottom. World's driest cymbal. World's driest.
20-inch flat ride.
20-inch
bass line's so good, isn't it? And the kick and snare are so dry with it. And then the change of to a slightly different sample of the cymbal there. Yeah. The bass sounds amazing. That synth, that's incredible. What bass synth is that? That was a ting. Big ups on the Samba. Big ups. Nice. And then potentially onto Nico now. What's the haps? Is there any yeah, I think that's the thing. Wait, let me look at my emails as well actually. Cobalt synth, 3 of them. Nice. Okay, that's sick. Oh yeah, James said no. Okay, so I think we just got Nico's tune to go then. So I might just bang that out now then. We got 2.5 minutes of goodness here from Nico. Let's bang it on.
Catching up with me, I'm looking like
vocals.
Must be dying now, cause I'm feeling like it's heaven. I might have to run away, so I've been saving. Might be bound to run if you see my head is shaven. Time's catching up with me, I'm looking like a raisin. Must be dying now, cause I'm feeling like it's heaven. I might have to run away, so I've been saving. Might be bound to run if you see my head is shaven.
Yeah, the doubling of the vocals is nice, and I was thinking that. Very close, like, yeah, I can hear that classic cymbal in the background there. This is a vibe.
Time's catching up with me, I'm looking like a raisin. Must be dying now, cause I'm feeling like it's heaven. I might have to run away, so I've been saving.
Nice bars.
Might be bound to run if you see my head is shaven. Time's catching up with me, I'm looking like a raisin. Must be dying
Looking like a raisin is a sick line.
feeling like it's heaven. I might have to run away, so I've been saving. Might be bound to run if you see my head is shaven.
You're making the songs for using the videos. Yeah, normally that's what I do. Whatever tunes I make, there'll always be an instrumental version that will be used in the Minecraft stuff. Nico, this is a vibe. This beat is so like chill. I love that bass line.
Time's catching up with me, I'm looking like a raisin. Must be dying now, cause I'm feeling like it's heaven. I might have to run away, so I've been saving. Might be bound to run if you see my head is shaven. Time's catching up with me, I'm looking like a raisin. Must be dying now, cause I'm feeling like it's heaven. I might have to run away, so I've been saving. Might be bound to run if you see my head is shaven.
Yeah, nice, man. Cheeky tune. I love how like you just made a legit tune and just used the sample in a legit way that just sounds like it's part of the tune. And me and Dave were both like, alright, let's make a ridiculous tune that's just like, here's how dry this cymbal is. Like you said, with all the vocal samples in as well. Jokes. But yeah, looking like a raisin's a sick lyric. Time's catching up with me, I'm looking like a raisin. It's already in my head. Bars, fam. Bars. So yeah, should we play some other classics? Like, you know what I need to play? I think I need to change some of the levels in it, but the trial I had for the auto-tune expired, so that was a bit peak. We could play some other classics. Like I made that new mix of what's it called? Where is it? Pop Week. Here it is. Just like play you out with a bit of Time Bomb with, I think, this is the version that has the auto-tune on it that's jokes. I started trying to make a good beat with the cymbal, but then realised it would be better to take the piss. Yeah. I just started taking the piss straight away. Just with the vocal sample was the first thing. Random synth I found as quick as I could. The chords are from a synth called Rand that you just press a button and it randomizes the settings. Nice. That's so jokes. Sick. Well, look, Happy New Year, guys. I think that was a pretty successful outing. So, like, Happy New Year, Happy New Music. I realised it would have been funny, I think, to call the stream Happy New Thursday rather than Happy New Music, but you live and learn. But yeah, I think that was a pretty sick one today. 3 banging tracks. 1 hilarious sample. It's what you came to see. I'm thinking about doing a gig on the DankNStein channel. Don't know what you lot think about this, you Thursday people. But I'm thinking about doing like a night where I might just play like half an hour of tunes or something. Save that for next year. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 3 guys, 1 sample. Literally was. It literally was. See, I've been thinking about doing a gig, but like on this channel, where I basically just sit here and I'll just like get the guitar out and just play a couple of songs, some covers or whatever, some tunes of mine, and maybe take some requests. That would be jokes. And I don't know, yeah, if anyone else wants to play, then just holler me. And maybe we can sort that out. But yeah, that's what I've been thinking, because we're back in lockdown again, so let's double down on the online musical activities and start putting on shows. Why not? So I'll play half an hour of tunes for you lot just for jokes. So yeah, I don't know when that'll be, in a week or 2, in the next couple of weeks. I'll put a little video on the channel that's like a little advert to see how many of the gamers, like the people who watch the gaming content, we can kind of like tempt over with the promise of some guitar playing. I don't know. We'll see. Could be jokes. How hard would a jam session be remotely? Probably impossible because of the latency. I think it'd be very difficult. But you can do the kind of like music creation, like production jam session. I think the Pass the Parcel stuff we've done, that's as close to a jam session as you can get. Like receiving a sort of a bass line and then writing a drum part to it, then receiving a guitar part, writing a bass line to it, then, you know, that felt like a jam session. And then you've all made like 5 tunes that you've all made together. There's a Reaper jamming plugin. Okay, I don't know what that is. I might look it up quickly. I know that like there's a thing called Ohm Studio as well, which is like a DAW in the cloud that multiple like users can contribute to the same project file at the same time. So I can be recording drums on the project file while you're like tracking some guitar or something, and then we can both be like producing different parts of it and stuff. It's called Renin Jam. For your podcast remote guest interview, Ninjam online jamming plugin. Looks nuts, bruv. Yeah, Ohm Studios jokes, man. Yeah, look into it. It's like, it's free, I think, as well for your first like few projects, but that's the limitation then, is that because it's all cloud stored, they can just put a hard limit on the number of projects you can save. So that's kind of how they limit it for the free package, and you don't really get any VSTs. You kind of have to bring all your own VSTs if you get the free package. But yeah, it's pretty jokes. It's good for like me and my sister. Like she used to like, well, she still does, I suppose, but she used to write a lot of songs, and I'd produce them, and that was a really good way of, she could like track a demo of a song, and then over that I could start to produce the backing, and then she'd come back in and redo the vocals, and you know, the song could just evolve back and forth. Or then she'd write like a new bridge and chuck that in, and then I'd like make, you know, continue producing underneath it, and like, you know, text each other like, oh, I've just finished that bit or whatever, have a listen. So it was cool. It was good fun. I think it's still going. Ohm Studio, it's like OHM Studio. So yeah. Yeah, so thanks for watching, I guess, guys, and like look out for the news on the gig. Looking forward to seeing everyone again next Thursday. We'll have to think of a theme, so get your theme suggestions in on the Discord or whatever. That could be jokes. And yeah, safe. See you next Thursday. Yeah, alright. And to finish, let's have a little bit of a time bomb.
You have lit the fuse leading to my heart. I don't know what I'll do, but loving you's the start.